Hey, Judith.
Hey, Robert.
Doing okay?
Yeah, how about you? How you feeling?
Feeling better. Thank God. Thank you for asking. But yeah, I'm good. I'm loving this
Yeah,
weather. I can tell you that.
was it the virus?
No, it
I know
wasn't. It
that.
was a cold. It was a cold. Thank God.
Okay,
Yeah.
praise God. Praise God.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to hear. Um, can I ask you questions? Am I the only one on so far?
No, you can ask though. Some people are coming in right now, but you still can
Oh,
ask. Mhm.
okay. Well, you know this commercial lease I have. So
Mhm.
they want to add a lease modification that is like just drawn up on piece of paper instead of using the commercial, amendment to the commercial lease. And I asked uh, the guy representing the landlord about it, and he said, no, it's easier this way, so we want to do it this way. I have an email that I can show, I can add to the dot loop.
Yeah, you probably have to do
The
that. What
tall
happens
commercial.
is when you have things like that that are input, like an exhibit or something to that nature, we would hope that it'd be some kind of instructions from an attorney or something, especially has something to do with, the contract and not just like real property or anything like that. Or
Yeah,
property that's
no,
not,
there's no real property involved.
yeah. Yeah. So,
But it's not my preference, but it's how they want to do it.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, do what you can. If they don't want to get a lawyer involved and they just want to type up something, we'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have to run it through compliance and see if they have any issues.
Okay.
And then we could go from there. But, I wouldn't, I'll keep the process going.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds
But
good.
preferably when it's stuff like that, when we're not using a promulgated form and the most updated one at that, because I know we've been talking about updated forms here lately. You want to have a lawyer type up something and amend it. We got a church that we're working on right now, and we had to amend it a couple of times, but they didn't want us to use a regular amendment. They had the lawyer draw it up, and that's totally fine. We just need somebody that if they're trying to practice law or trying to have something that's enforceable on a contract and they're not using the proper contract, we just need to, make sure we get it documented and recorded properly.
Okay, well, let me run it by you because he sent it to me as an attachment. So I'll
Yeah, just send it to me when you get a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I sure will. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Looking forward to your class tonight.
Oh man, we're gonna try to work through this Commgate tonight. I know we're gonna have a lot of questions.
I'm excited.
I am too, man, because I know a lot of people now starting to have their clients ask about commercial, and we're starting to see the interest starting to peak up. Yeah. And I know it's kind of hard to get everything out in one night, but we're gonna try to go through this. And I'm gonna show a few sites again that I did a webinar like early last year talking about some free sites to look for commercial.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put that back up there
That's
here
great.
tonight.
We want to give LoopNet and oh gosh, who's the other, Transtar, a run for their money.
Yeah, it's so many out there though. I ain't gonna lie to you. It can be a headache at times, but in most cases, if you have the right client, those good listings will pay out.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll pay out really good. So we'll see how it go. We got about another 8 minutes for everybody to get in here. But if you have any questions, please share, because I know you know a lot and you could definitely help, get questions answered here or there on this call tonight. And really, we just want to make it to where, we added more tools to everybody's belt so that they can go out there and do more different types of real estate, and make some good money. So we got about 8 more minutes here. I've got a few people here tonight. Hello, everyone. We got an expert on the phone too. Mr. Dale is with us. Hi, Dale. What's up, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm trying to get my video in. Hold on.
You'll be okay. You can,
It
if
was
not,
working a
just put
minute
a
ago.
picture up there. Yeah, I typically don't work on Zoom with the video, but because I'm doing this webinar at night, I turn it on. But typically on all of my Zoom calls, I never turn on the video. We now get a nice
Can you
picture
see me
like,
now? Yeah, I'm there.
yeah, I can
Cool.
see you. Yes, sir. And we got a nice picture like Judith up there. We'll be just
Fantastic.
fine.
Oh yeah. Well,
How's your day, man?
busy.
That's good. We want to hear that.
I'm trying to figure out how to. I have some understanding of how various databases work, right?
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out. I was trying to get. So what I want to do is for my mailings, I'm trying to mail into. Because I find that if someone is talking to you about your property and they send you a picture of your property with the mailing, that has more impact, right?
Yeah.
And so I can get that stuff from MLS. It's really easy, right? You have the address. You can, if it's urban listed on MLS, you have all kinds of photographs of the property in a JPEG. The problem is I'm trying to find a way to store that image in the database. I'm trying to find a smooth way to do that. So I can just, grab it off of the MLS and throw it in the database.
Yeah. What program or database are you using right now? What is it?
Well, right now I'm using Open Office.
Open Office? Okay. I know one of my guys.
Regular Office as well, if I needed that.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. I frankly, I need to have a refresher on the database because it's been years. It's last time I used a database with any real consistency was back in law school.
Oh, wow.
So that was like 20 years ago.
Hey, that's that knowledge right there, man. I can appreciate that.
Well, but I gotta get up to speed. I gotta remember how to do it because I'm like, I know there's a way to do it. Accomplishing it, but I'm trying to find a slick and elegant way to be automated so I'm not killing myself time-wise.
Yeah.
On it. But I completed my HAR orientation.
That's good.
And I'm almost done with their ethics thing. And I've got my first marketing stuff together. And I'm going to shoot something by you shortly.
Okay.
I want to make sure it's all up and working as a system first.
Man, look at you working hard over there, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm trying to work smart.
Nah, that's all good, man. It's good to hear you fired up over there. Trying to figure out how to make this real estate thing work. Every person, is different for different people. So I like the way you're kind of thinking outside the box on it.
I'm trying to focus on what my skill set is best.
Yeah. Nah, that'll be good, man. Try to work smarter, not harder, my man.
Oh, yeah.
So we got about another 4 minutes. We'll let everybody come on in, kind of get situated. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Commgate. This is one of the platforms that are out there that we can use to search for commercial property. One of many. So we won't spend a whole lot of time on it, but I think we're just getting here enough to where everybody can utilize this going forward. At least to search for properties, to kind of cut your time down, and we'll go from there. Yuri, how are you, man? Yuri, you there?
Oh, okay.
There you go. I hear you. How you doing, man?
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Unmuted. What's going on, Robert?
Nothing much, man. I thought I lost you there for a minute.
I was hoping it was you on this program.
You want me to drive you crazy tonight?
Both me and my wife were watching.
Oh man. I see she got on, man. She over there trying to beat you to this commercial deals, man. She already got a lease going.
I know it. I know it. She's good working at state.
She's the overachiever, huh?
She
Well, good,
that's
man.
good. So how you feeling, Robert? Judith mentioned you were a little under the weather or something.
Oh man, yes, sir. Thank God, man. I had a good 3 days that I had a cold. I went to Mississippi, and man, I've been in and out of the car. We got a new van, and it's like freaking the glacier in there. It was cold. And I didn't realize it because I'm a big guy and I like.
You got to turn those vents away.
Man, I like that cool weather, man. I'm a big boy. I gotta have that cool weather, especially driving for hours on hours. Like, we was on the road for like 6 hours, so I like it for it to be cool. And then, if I'm doing the whole drive, I got to make sure I'm comfortable. But at the end of the day, I just had a runny nose, and it turned out to be a cold. I went and took one of those tests at the clinic up there, and my friend brought me over. They were selling those, the box kit tests. So I took both of them. They both were negative. So, and I had already had both of my shots back in like March or sometime. I got the Pfizer. I had both doses. So I was hopeful that, that could at least shield off something. But yes, sir, I'm doing much better.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right, guys. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight. I want to make sure that I'm respectful of what you guys have going on. Thank you for joining our webinar. Tonight, we're going to be talking about commercial real estate and how to search for commercial real estate. I will tell you that this is not going to be the end all be all, but at least you got a tool that you can use to kind of get some properties in front of your people and also to see what the market is doing out there. Okay.
Sorry, did you say you wanted to use your phone number or account number? Otherwise, say new customer.
All right, guys, if you could mute your phone for us, that way
Let's try this. To use your phone number to look up
I can mute you. Okay, there you go. Thank you. So yeah, if you could mute your phone until you're talking, that way we'll get on through here. Once again, thank you guys for joining our call tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about Commgate commercial real estate. Before we get going here, though, I want to show you a little picture. I did a webinar sometime last year. We have it in our webinar link. And you can go back and see it whenever you have some time. If you didn't catch the actual night that we did it. But here is some of the things that we kind of talked about. This is just a snapshot. This is not all of them, but this is a snapshot of some free sites that you can use to search for some type of commercial property listing, whether it's land, office space, shared office space, buildings, medical, industrial, whatever specialty. So if you get a chance, you can snap a picture off here. This is just a small list. It's not, like I said, it's not the all be all, but if you start here, I'm pretty sure you'll have some luck finding some property for your client. Okay. So when I look at this, all right, we have one of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight, commercial gateway here at the top left-hand side over here. But you also have, your LoopNet, your City Feet, Commercial Cafe, Land of America. CoStar is probably the only pay for subscription in here. And you don't, right away, you don't have to go out and get a paid subscription because you still can find properties until you know that you're going to be investing in this full time, or if you're going to be working commercial in the future, then you can wait until that time comes. But if you do decide that commercial is something that you're going to work in or you're going to use, I highly recommend it getting a CoStar account. Okay. So that's only if you're going to be in the field and you continue to work it. CoStar will be a great account, but all of these you can search for free. You don't have to have an account to search in these, okay? So I thought I'd just throw that out there real quick before we jump back over into our Commgate presentation tonight. And guys, as you're coming in, if you could, just mute your line so that we don't hear your background. And then that leaves very little room for interruption in our conversation tonight.
Robert, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
Were you referring to a list that you had pop up on the screen? Because I didn't see a list. Do you have a printed list of those sources?
No, I had it up on the screen. Okay.
I just see your Commgate find properties, map search, become a member. So that's
Okay.
why I wanted to double check with you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Here you go. I know I move fast on this thing, and sometimes every time I switch screens, I have to reshare. So can you see it now? Can you
Yes,
see?
thank
You can see it now? Okay, great.
I can.
All right, sorry about that earlier, guys. So here is that screen that I was looking at when you guys are looking at the Commgate screen. But this is a list of some of the properties, some of the platforms, excuse me, that are out there that you can search for real estate. And like I said, this is the only one paid subscription that's out there right now. Of course, you can get paid subscriptions for all of these, but you don't need it to actually search on their site. For the most part, all these other ones you can search on their site as a customer. Okay. Take a picture if you need to. And if not, this is in our webinar library. We try to keep at least 2 to 3 years worth of stuff in there. So you can always, if you miss these Thursday nights, you can always go back to it and look at it and, listen to the discussion on your own. You can stop it, pause it, work through it, whatever works for you, but it is available for you just in case you do miss any. And just remember, we do have webinars every Thursday night. We try to put some cool topics out there. So if you have, for me, and my guys, if there's ever something that we want to put out and talk about, just touch base with me and I'll try to work it into the schedule when it's my rotation, or some of the other mentors are rotating information. We can kind of share with them that this is what we want to hear about. Okay, so getting back over to our map and make sure that I'm resharing this. All right, here we go. So Commgate, one of the things, that I do is whenever I have something I'm working on particular, I try to bookmark it. So if I was you, if you're going to be using this, bookmark it down here, right? Or you can go through it through, realtor.com, or you can simply just type in, not realtor.com, hard.com, or you can just type in commgate.com, either way. All right. So when you come here, you got your property search, you got about, you got your events, your news, and of course, if you want to join, you can become a member here. But you can always get information up here when you're going through those little headers. But for the most part, we're going to work strictly here in either the property search or map search. You can go either way. So for this case, I'm just going to click on map. Okay. And they both will pull up the same way. Right. So I click map version there. And if I go here, click that version, as you can see, they both going to pop up the same. All right. Now, just like every other database that we're using, a platform we're using, each one of them have territory. So you're not going to get things up north in San Francisco, California. You're going to pretty much be limited to mostly Texas. And also just the area that, HAR or Commgate use as territory. Okay. So you can come here under location. You can type in address, or you can type in like a zip code. It's up to you. Right now, I'm gonna just go past, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna run a few searches for some things that I just wrote down, some clients may be working on, and if we have time, we might be able to hear something from you guys. But so this is location. All right. Then you got the type of property, right? You can look for sale property, You can look for lease property. You can look for auction properties. Now, with these auction properties, of course, you know, they got times you got to go and meet their guidelines. So if this is something that you're interested in, you got to make sure you read up on it. Just like every other auctioneer, they have their guidelines and ways that they conduct their auctions. So make sure you're up to speed on that and read up on it prior to. And hopefully, you know, you'll check in with myself or any other commercial mentors that are out there that will be joining us to kind of help you through the process. All right. And then you got space use. Now, this is, you know, just generic office, retail, industrial land, you know, et cetera. You can get into more detail over here when you come down to the property or building type, right? And sometimes when you click on the actual type of building you want, it kind of gives you some additional options. You know, a lot of people be like, well, hey, I want a restaurant. But then when you come up here on the original list here, you don't see restaurant, right? You just see these things. But then when you click into them, you see those drop downs that give you a few more options. Like this can be a strip center, neighborhood center, big box, freestanding. It could be restaurant, daycare, bank. So just make sure that you know, click on these headers or topics here, and you can kind of see what drop down space you got in there. Any questions so far? We got that? I don't want to be talking so fast, but that was the type of building. Okay. The next one is the size of building. You know, a lot of times, you know, a client may say, I need about 1,500 square foot. I want to open up a nail salon, or I want to do some office space with a little storage in the back. Then you can, you know, control your searches by looking up the square footage of the building or the available square foot. Because sometimes when you look up square foot of the building, it'll come up and it just have the whole building. If it's like a office building, it's got 30,000 square foot, but available, they only have certain square footage available. Some of it can be divided. Some of it probably can't be divided. So those are the particulars that you got to look for when you get inside the listing. The next thing is land, acreage, commercial versus residential. You can kind of, you know, click on here to kind of see those listings. All right. Then you got, if you want to add on some more filters, just like most of the other sites, when you get in there, you want to click on and remove some stuff, add some stuff. You can look at, you know, the date that this listings was updated or it came on the market. You got your building status, whether it's existing, proposed, meaning that, you know, they have a plat, they have a master plan, they're ready, they're building it through phases. And in most cases, they're building it to suit, right? Somebody want to lease, so they get a contract, they will finish off a building, or somebody want to buy, they'll finish off a building. But just look for those notes, it'll say proposed on the listing. And then in some cases you have under construction. You know, they have so many months left over, or in this case where we have a full development and they're doing it all in phases, you see some of it may be under construction. And demolished, you're not going to see a whole bunch of those out there, but you may see something that was a site that was demolished and it could be just a pad versus the actual structure. And then you got, you know, occupancy, multi-tenant or single tenant. Then you got pending listings. You know, you can take them off or you can just show the pending date. It's up to you. All right. Then you also have the year built. If you're looking for, you know, those A buildings or B buildings, you can kind of filter through, hey, I want a newer building. Hey, I want an older building. Just so you know, and we know, newer buildings offer a lot of benefits, right? They're going to be probably in the most desirable locations. They're going to have better finishes, up-to-date finishes. But on the backside, they're probably going to be higher. They're going to be more per square foot. They're going to be, you know, a triple net probably added to it. And then in that triple net, you're going to see those newer building triple nets are definitely higher than the older building triple net. You know, I have a guy that I was talking to today. One of his clients, I think, is looking for they want to do a nail salon, right? And I think the dollar per square foot was like $32. And then the triple net was like $11. So it brought it up to $43 per square foot. And that's, of course, a new building. Now, some of these, you know, C buildings, D buildings, if they, you know, categorized that way, you'll see that your triple net could be like $3, $5, $6. And like I said, they can get as high as, you know, $11 to $20. It all depends. But that's what you'll deal with when you get newer buildings versus older buildings. Okay. Some of them will have your virtual tour in there. Not a whole lot of them. You see a little more virtual tours inside of houses. But if not anything, they will do like if you see like a little walkthrough or a drone pass through of the office, you may see a few of those out there. And that's really it. You know, you got your drop down. If it's a condominiumized, which is only condos or exclude condos, you could do that. You don't find a lot of people doing condos. You'll see those barndominiums coming up, but it's not really big here yet, or it's not something that's been desired over the clients that I've been working with. Okay, I know I spit that out pretty fast. Any questions so far? All right, so let's dig into looking. So over here, you got this map where you can shrink it, or you can zoom in, zoom out. You can come into where you want to look, and you can actually move this thing too as well. You can move it over. This is New Brunswick, San Antonio. We're going to come over into the Houston area, right? So you can see where you see all those dots at. That's definitely Houston. Then you can zoom in a little bit more. You can go into a certain area. Say, for instance, you want to be in the Woodlands, or you want to be over here in Cypress Spring. You could actually change this if you want. You could do a satellite view. What the satellite view does is shows you more of almost like a Google Earth. You know, you can see what's actually out there when you go inside. You know, if you want to see a building or the way it's laid out, you can see lakes, so on and so forth, right? I like looking at the map version, okay? And it's just me, because that when it's all green, I can't necessarily see it. It's got too much going on. All right, but let's say, for instance, you know, hey, I want to look in Cypress, right? You can go here and you can type in, you know, the zip code if you want. You know, Cypress has 2 zip codes. You got 77433. Oh, wait a minute, 112 7. All right. Pop up. Hold on 1 second. Or you can do 77429. Oh, is that why? Hold on 1 second. For some reason, that location ain't pulling up. Let's just do Cypress sections now.
Rather listen to this than that.
Want to have some trouble tonight, right? For some reason, it's not, my thing is not going through. So I'm going to go to the other option. Great. It gives me an opportunity to do some different things. So I can actually draw on this thing if I want to. So say, for instance, I just want to cover Cypress. I can drag it out. All right. And now I got items in there. I can go ahead and apply. So it pulls up everything in that little radius that I created, right? And as you can see, there's different colors on these dots that identify what kind of property they might have categorized it as. Doesn't mean that it's the end all be all, but you know, red is office, industrial is blue, you got land, you got, let's see here, you got green, which is, let me get this off of here. You got green as retail. Oh. Green as retail. I guess that'd be purple. What other color we have? So we got red, green, purple, and blue. All right. So say, for instance, we are in here and we say, hey, I want to just look up land. So let's get rid of some of this other stuff and let's just focus on land. All right. So it took away everything else and it just left the land. All right. Let's say, for instance, we want to do size of land. We want to do acres. Say, for instance, we want a minimum of 2 acres and a maximum of 10 acres. All right. So that's what we have right here. Right. If you wanted to add more, you want to look at something, the year or the date it came available, it's kind of hard to look at more on land. And they don't have like restricted or unrestricted in here, but if it's commercial, it's commercial. But you can start looking through here, like say, for instance, so most of these are going to have prices on them. Some of them don't. You know, you got right here, this is 2.4 acres at 530,000. And then you got 3 acres down here that don't have anything. All right. But as you can see, some of them have flyers. And if you want, you're interested in one, you click on it. You can do a full page. All right. So down here at the bottom is where you're going to find your property detail. Some of them have generic information in here. Some realtors are very thorough and they'll have like some really good details, some meat to this listing. But for the most part, this is where you're going to learn as much as you can about the property, right? And then, you know, you'll see where they got remarks here. And if they got a flyer, you can go ahead and click on the flyer. And what this flyer does, it kind of gives you an area view, kind of shows you what's around there, just in case you have a client that's looking to be around certain buildings, restaurants, you know, like, you know, if you go to a Home Depot, you know, Lowe's is going to be less than a mile away, you know. So if you have some clients, those big wigs like that, that have, when they go, they see a partner there or a competitor, they're right there in the mix. So then, you know, this, you know, they gives you the measurements and you can deem this to be correct. They probably did a Google acres draw, or draw out the line from the Harris County or whatever county this is in. But at least you can say this is what you think, and you have to get out there to measure with a survey, or verify with the survey, or get it walked off yourself whenever your client is buying the property. But remember, when you're looking at stuff like this, you see that this is heavily dense. You know, you got a lot of trees. So sometimes some buyers may see this as an advantage. Some buyers see it as a disadvantage, because if they got to clear out these trees and it's going to cost them $200,000 to get these trees cleared out, it may not be worth it to them to buy this. All right. Here are the team.
Hey, Robert.
Yes. Hey, Dee, how are you?
Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so does residential, 2 questions about the, you know, seeing the sales price and what you're looking at as far as financing that. Is it kind of like how residential works? For one, like to say that 500,000 sales price comes out to about 10% of like $5,000 a month. And my second question to add to that is, what do interest rates look like right now on the average for purchase?
You know, it all depends. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, commercial is so fickle right now, and with these lenders, these commercial deals, you're gonna see a lot of people doing more private lender than they are doing regular traditional lending, just because of their portfolio, documentation, all kind of things. But you know, if you think about it, you're looking at anywhere for a commercial deal, you're going to be looking at anywhere from like 4 to 8%. And that all depends on who you're working with. It could be higher, especially if it's hard money, it definitely can be higher. But those competitors out there that's trying to be competitive with their pricing strategy for these type of loans, you're going to see they kind of about a point or two over the prime rate that you see for residential. So if I think right now rates are right at 3% or a little bit lower, right at 3%. So you're looking at anywhere from 4 and up. And in terms of land loans are still, there are people out there that are doing them, but they're not, as many people doing it. And I think, you can reach out to your local, I want to say like not your traditional bank, but like your credit unions. Those you have a little bit more luck with some land loans. Private lenders, you have a lot more luck with land loans. So you gotta do your homework. Everything in commercial is all about doing homework. It's a little bit more work than it is with your residential, and you just got to put some fillers out there. Anyone else? And I'm glad to hear you back, girl. It's good to hear your voice. I didn't know you was going to be on the call tonight. Thank you. I know you're always going to have some good questions.
There's always good stuff on here.
I know, man. I would love when you're on the call. All right. So yeah, in terms of, contacting these agents, you can call whoever. There's, sometimes there'll be a principal person, but in most cases, if they got multiple people on here, you can reach out to any one of them. These guys, some of them are cool, some of them are not. Just make sure you got your facts in line and got your questions written down so you don't seem to stutter. Because if you're talking to these guys and you don't seem like you know what you're talking about, it can be difficult sometimes. And if you don't get things in writing, they don't care about hurting your feelings or trying to take some of your commission. And we can talk about that, on a sidebar when we are working with these people. But for the most part, just like anyone else, if these realtors want to sell their property, they will take the most qualified person that can, present the best offer for their client. All right.
Question, can you hear me?
Yes.
Are these under the same MLS listing? Are these under the same MLS listing rules as far as I don't see in here any information on the split for the buyer's agent?
Exactly. You're probably not going to see it all the time. That's why you got to be upfront with them and talk to them about it. And this is one of the things that I've always wanted to fight in commercial, because, some agents, they'll put it out there. They'll say, hey, we're giving 5% on this deal, or we're giving 3% out there. But the majority of the agents, you're not going to see commission out there.
Okay.
I'm just being honest. That's why you got to talk to them and call them and get that information from them. And, it's to a point to where, I had a car lot that I was selling, and the guy waited to the last minute. I had did a LOI. We had already did the negotiations and had inked the deal, which we know LOIs don't mean nothing in the world, but, it's your talking point, right? And we got it down to where we was writing the contract, and we was at the point of executing. The lawyers had went back and forth a couple of times. And then once we got everything signed and ready to go, the guy, the broker came back to me and said, oh, hey, you know what? I was so caught up in getting this deal finalized that I forgot to tell you the commission on this deal is only 2%.
So you want to put the commission split agreement in the actual contract?
Oh yeah, you definitely have to.
As you're starting to ink the deal up, you want to put that right up front in the actual contract.
Yeah. So when we do an LOI, that's our first term. So we don't have to go out and draw up or offer a full 15-page document at the front. We'll do an LOI to kind of put out some high-level terms, and in that LOI, we talk about commission. And that's a good time to verify, hey, agent, did you get my LOI? Just want to make sure that commission split was good. There's been times where, when you're doing that commission split, you can put out there what you want. I've had some agents get 5%, 4%, 6%. I even had an agent, he was getting like 10% on some deals. I'm like, man, how did you do that? But, everything is negotiable in commercial. So if you think that it's higher, like an office space, and they have been trying to get that thing leased out, I would just put 4% in there and act like I didn't know no better.
Yeah, an LOI is a letter of intent. What they're
Yep.
doing, real estate agents are used to submitting the final contract,
Yeah,
because you guys are kind of stuck using the promulgated forms
yeah. So
in real estate agents. Oftentimes you're starting out with the broad terms of the deal, and then you pare down to the little stuff.
yeah. So yeah, that's why we try to use an LOI, just to kind of get the broad scope of things. Somebody like, I was talking about the guy with the nail salon. Certain office shopping centers, once they get one thing in there, they're not going to let you compete. There's like, if there's a nail shop or a massage parlor or something in there, sort of the style of your business, they're not going to allow it, in most cases. But some shopping centers will only allow certain businesses in their place as well. They may not want a barber shop, or they may not want a place that sell alcohol in their strip center. So you definitely, want to have that intent of what you want to use that building for, or land, or et cetera, so that they can tell you if that's allowed, or if they're accepting some more tenants with that, if this is a lease deal.
Hey, Rob,
Yes.
doing a showing on this. That is, if I'm showing a residential client, I can just set an appointment, grab my super key, take them out there and show them the facility, right?
Yeah.
Is that the convention that they're not using that convention hall on the commercial, are they?
You're not
As
going
far
to
as that
see
works?
You're not going to see supers out there. You're going to see more lock boxes than anything, because they kind of, use it for contractors as well. But in most cases, what you're going to see with these brokers and, these listing agents, they're going to want to come out and show their property with you. And it's okay, especially as a newbie, because they have more information than you do on that property, and they can help you with the walkthrough and kind of point out some of the things that has been done, modifications, or help paint a picture of what can be done. Maybe they had it set up as this one time, and now they got it set up as that. So they can give some pointers, but normally what I tell my agents and myself when I'm going out there is, hey, listen, I appreciate you coming out to show us the building. We're going to probably need about 15 to 30 minutes to walk it on our own, just to absorb it and kind of talk back and forth amongst ourselves. So if you can work that into it, that'd be great. Or, hey, I'm going to allow you, 15, 20 minutes to give us a walkthrough, and then we're going to want to view the building ourselves, kind of thing.
And you're going to want to have your commercial client into a contract then anyway. That way they don't poach that client out from under you at that point.
Yes. Just like anything else, if you can get a buyer up, Texas United, they stand behind a buyer up, but we know it's not, people can cancel those things all the time. But for the most part, you would like to have them in some kind of buyer up or an agreement. The most important piece of this is, getting that broker to broker agreement in place for that client, where you're registering that client with the broker so they'll know that you represent them. Or if there's not a broker and it's just an owner, you can do an owner to broker registration.
Is that commonly done before you ever bring the client out there?
I would, if I could. If I thought my client was really, really interested, I would. Or at minimum, I would definitely have them up on the buyer rep. Because like I said, these guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah, call them up, say, I have an interested buyer, interested tenant, but before I bring them out, we got to talk about the split.
It all depends. This business, it's a feel conversation. It's kind of like, I tell myself with my buyers, I meet a person for the first time on the first day, we supposed to go over the IBS, which I go over it just verbatim. I'm not pulling out a piece of paper and then reading each line item. I talk about buyers, sellers, talk about who represent who, but I may not on that day one get them to sign a buyer agreement, because when you start talking contract, especially if somebody's just interviewing you or they're just getting a feel for what kind of service you're going to provide, you can scare them away with trying to get them to lock up in a contract. So you got to kind of play it by ear. So same thing with, your your listing agent. If you can talk about that commission up front, would be great, which is easy. I mean, that's not something that you got to wait on. It's easy. Go ahead. But if you see an opportunity just to kind of, show a little bit of your cards, but not everything first, then do that too.
I would also kind of add that when that listing agent meets you there, sometimes they ask questions that you weren't prepared for.
Man, that's great.
Like
Yeah.
invasive, or that maybe you weren't prepared for, like you don't have the answer, but also in a way of like, man, I really would prefer not to answer that, because if I do, you might take advantage of the situation.
Girl, you
Or
are
maybe
crazy.
a buyer talks too much and puts their foot in their mouth kind of thing.
Yes, man, that is phenomenal. That's why I be liking when you be on these calls. I couldn't even get to it before you started talking about it. That's perfect. And Jeanette, I saw you raise your hand. We're gonna come to you. I'm gonna just make this comment behind Danielle with this awesome input. That is so good. If that seller agent is gonna meet you out at that property, you need to prep your buyer on what might happen. Right? They may ask questions like financially, have you been pre-approved? Do you have how much money you have to spend? What do you think about this price point? You don't want your client to get overly excited, or like give them the indication during that walkthrough that you want the building. It's so many things that you want to make sure happen, and it's just like any other client, anytime if you're doing residential or any other showing, you don't want them to give up the cards early. And yes, there are going to be some questions asked that you probably wasn't prepared about, because you remember that agent want to look better than you anyway, because that's what they do. They want to show that they have the knowledge, and it's okay. We want them to have the knowledge. This is going to help us sell that building. But if it's something that you don't want to answer, you know what, we're going to get back with you on that. We haven't discussed that into detail yet, but we'll make sure to get with you when necessary. So be able to fire back and stand strong on not answering any uncomfortable questions or questions that you don't feel you should discuss at that time. Good, great, Danielle. Thank you so much. All right, Jeanette, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a couple of things.
Okay.
Is the buyer representation agreement for commercial the same as a residential?
No, ma'am. It's a little different. It's a commercial version of it. And it has, a couple of different ways you can get paid.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is that on the residential, it shows that where we are asking a certain percentage, but on the commercial one, so you're saying that it actually doesn't specify a percentage because you're actually going to be writing that in the contract?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say that. If I did, I'm sorry. I must have misspoke. I'm saying that it's different from the residential agreement, but yes, you will identify how you expect to get paid or what percentage you expect to get paid. But it does give you more options of ways to get paid on the commercial representation.
So if you put something that's a minimum and then you have a property out there that's paying more, well, then you're giving up that money, right?
No, that's just a representation agreement. That's not necessarily the end all be all, right? It's just like a home. If you have a residential home, you go out, you saying you want 3%, but they're going to give you a BTSA for $10,000. They don't necessarily have anything to do with the buyer. Really, what we're telling the buyer is the most important piece is that, hey, we don't expect to get commission from you. We're going to go and seek commission of whatever amount from the seller. That's the biggest piece. Or if for in fact that the buyer is paying you commission, it's just an agreement that, hey, the seller pay for the seller commission, the buyer pay for the buyer commission. You can run across that in some cases. Then yes, you can identify with them that this is what I'm expecting to come from you.
So that's going to guarantee your minimum at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now I want to be clear. The normal split comes because of the MLS agreement, because both the realtor representing the agents representing the buyer and the seller are both members of the MLS, and a part of their MLS agreement is the split, right? And that's not the convention in commercial.
No, it's always going to be the listing agreement that identifies what commissions are going to be paid. And then they try to translate those into the MLS. But like we said, in commercial, you're not going to see that number on there. And residential is going to be pretty much standard. They're going to put it in there because there's a field that has a block that needs to be filled in. They're not going to accept not putting it there. But in like LoopNet, Commgate, and a lot of these other sites where they're not putting it in there, you just want to make sure that you do these steps to kind of identify what you're expecting, either if it's from the buyer seller, and then with the seller or broker, how much are you expecting to get out of this deal?
Well, but the MLS, if it lists in the MLS 3% for the buyer's agent, right?
Okay.
Then I can count on the fact that I'm going to get my 3%, right? If I bring the buyer, right? But
Yes,
that's
sir.
not the case. That's not the case in the commercial, right?
I'm not sure when you say that's not the case. If it tells you on, an MLS is, when I refer to MLS, I'm talking about HAR or just a normal multiple listing services that we see the typical, agent reports and things of that nature. Yes, they would have that 3% in there. In terms of commercial, though, you won't see that. But yes, you can expect if it says that somewhere in that listing, it says that, hey, we're giving you 3% to bring me a buyer, then by far that's what's going to happen when it comes down to the commission split.
Okay, if it's listed on the commercial, but oftentimes it's not on commercial, unlike residential.
Yeah, in most cases,
Okay.
it's not. You're not going to see the commission in commercial. In most cases, I'm going to say, and I'm not no expert on this, but I'm going to say 90% of the time, you're not going to see the commission split. Okay.
When do you start talking about commission?
Right away, it all depends. Like I said, I think the other person was talking, should we talk about it when I schedule it? Should I talk about it when I'm ready to write up an offer? It's up to you. It will, if you got a serious client and this is going to go through, it won't hurt to say, all right, how you get your list together for the properties that you want to present to your client, right? If you want to go ahead, when you have that list, start calling them in if you want. It's up to you. You can be like, okay, I got 5 properties I want to introduce to my client. Let me just see what commission they're giving me. Right? You call all 5 properties. Hey, listen, my name is Robert Griffin with Texas United Realty. I got a client that I want to propose your listing to. We're looking for some land out here in Cypress. I see that you have this listing. And I just want to verify the commission split on this one is 4% to the buyer's agent, right? Or whatever you decide to say, 3%, 2%, 5%, whatever you decide. And then you can kind of make your notes. And if you got out of those 5 people, you got all of them saying 3% or better, or you got 4 of them saying 3% or better, and 1 of them saying 1%, then you gotta, decide how you want to deal with that. Got it?
I have a question. If I'm going to be the listing agent and it's land, but it's not zoned
It's not.
residential contract. Yeah, the land isn't zoned for commercial. So this is not that I have to put the percent in the agreement that I put up on HAR, correct?
I don't know if I understand that again. So can you repeat it again for me?
10 acres, not commercial. Okay.
Not commercial.
And then as the listing agent, and I put it on HAR, I do need to put the percent that the buyer's agent would get.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just, because you were saying land and then you were saying commercial, and I didn't know if I was missing something. Gotcha.
If you entered it into HAR, it's always going to be, you got to enter that commission in there. If it's going into HAR.
Okay.
If you're doing a commercial site like these, saying that it's optional, you see 90% of the people that don't have a commission split in here. It would be wise if you did, but these people, the broker, most likely they want you to call them about the property so that they can do their job. And the job is, let me quantify you and see if you can even purchase this property. And that's what you're going to find. That's why a lot of those agents like to go out to the showing for you. They don't want to waste their time, and they don't want to go to their client wasting the time when they don't have a concrete buyer. So that's why they ask those questions to kind of do their due diligence.
Okay.
All right.
I figure my the buyer's agent can walk that 10 acres with them.
Oh yeah, man. You know, we can walk these properties. These people, they know it. I don't even know, because sometimes, you know, and that's what throws me off. You act like you bothered by me bringing a client to you, but then you want to come out here and be in my hair. You know, let me do my part. You know, the only time that, like I say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll let them bring the buyer.
Well, in your case, yes, you're the selling agent. Yeah, bring all the buyers you want. Bring them all.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, going back to the map, another thing you could do, you can clear this thing and you can actually draw on it. You can draw what you want to cover. So if I just say I want to go here and just draw a little map, and then I just click apply, and it'll pull up things inside there. So you can do either the radius or you can draw it. You can draw another shape if you want. And then remember also, you can change it back. Let's take it off of land. Let's say we want to look for a restaurant. So we're going to click on restaurant. We're going to click on retail, and then we're going to click on restaurant. Let's see if any in that section. There's nothing in there. All right. So then I'll take off restaurant and just leave it as retail. So oh man, I clicked the wrong one. Hold on. So then this is your retail. Now, a lot of times, and this is what I like in this case, sometimes people don't list it with the same category, that you would think that it should. So it's always good to go into the big category and look and see if there's anything in there that could potentially be what you want it to be. All right. So now, what is this? This has got some lease stuff in there. Let me just take it and put it for sale. Well, I'll leave it both lease and sell. We'll leave it on both. I'm not even up there. You can do that. Okay, so then let's go. Here's a neighborhood Walmart, a neighborhood. Yeah, look like a neighborhood Walmart. Let's look at something simple here. Let's see here. Come on. Oh, okay. You know what? Before I jump into that, let me show you this right here. All right, so this is just, a retail. It's $28 per square foot. And I'll just share this as a little quick nugget. Most of the time when you see these $28 per square foot, you'll see a triple net. I don't see it yet in here, but once you kind of dig into here a little bit more, or they have some notes in here to tell you what the triple net is. They don't have anything right now. But you will see that this price right here is your base price, and then you have a triple net, which is going to be for your taxes, insurance. Yeah, so here go the triple net right here. Your taxes, your insurance, and the area maintenance around there, like cleaning the parking lot, taking the trash. It may even have some water or some utility or something in there. It all depends. But in this case, they don't tell you what the triple net is. So you'll end up calling them and saying, hey, you know what, I was looking at this property. It may be a good fit for my client. What do you guys, expenses or triple net is? And they'll tell you. So whatever it is, you add this to this price. So let's do a little quick calculation and I'll tell you what the cost will be, and then we'll talk about the commission, right? So we're gonna just say, just for calculation purposes, we're gonna say the triple net is $5, right? So we're gonna take $28 plus $5, that equals $33. Okay, so then we'll take $33 times right here, this square footage, which is 3132. That came out to $103,356 per year. All right. Then you take that divided by 12, it came out to 86.13. That's what they'll be paying per month, unless you negotiated a better rate. You got it? So total dollar amount per square foot, if it's got your base plus your triple net times your total square foot, it gives you a yearly amount. Take that yearly amount, divide it by 12, give you your monthly amount. All right. Most cases, when you're dealing with this, you won't see them adjust this triple net because that's like a set fee for them. They got their taxes, how much they pay for insurance and et cetera. So these are almost like set fees. But what you will see is you can adjust this square foot dollar amount. Okay. Now,
Hey, Robert, do you get any success? Do you get any success in negotiating a cap on the triple net?
Man, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. These people are a little crazy, especially these landlords. For some reason, man, when it comes down to those triple nets, they don't want to budge, man. I've seen a property set on the market for years. I remember I was trying to do this restaurant over here in Cyprus, and this guy didn't want to budge $2. And I know it seems like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but when it's been sitting there a year, you would think that, man, you want to move that place because you ain't getting no money because ain't nobody in there.
Well, because the net and double net and triple net can change. Parts of that can change.
Well,
obviously,
I mean,
depending on the state of the building. And yeah, a cap is something that often a tenant, your buyer or your tenant's going to really want to have, is some kind of cap on that.
Yeah, I mean, everything is negotiable now. I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying in the reality of things, these guys don't budge a lot when it come down to their set expenses. You know, the dollar per square foot, I've seen them adjust a lot on. Those expenses, when they got the taxes, the CAMs, and the insurance stuff, they don't necessarily adjust that. Same thing when it comes down to commission. They're not going to pay you a commission on that triple net, right? Because that's the money that they're using to quote unquote run their building, right? And not have to pay it out of their pocket. That's why most people get into commercial, because the tenant pays for everything, right? All right, let's talk about the commission on this, right? And we're just going to use a regular 3%. So you won't be able to use the triple net. So what we're doing is taking $28 per square foot times 31.32, which came out to $87,000, $696 a year, right? And then you take that times how many years you do the lease for, if this is a lease, which we're trying to calculate here. You know, on average, you'll see a 3-year lease. You won't see a whole lot of 1 year, but you can. And if the landlord had a say, they're going to want a 5 or 7 year or higher. Okay, we'll just use a 3-year lease as an example. So you take that 87,696 times 3 years, that equals to $263,088. Then you take that times whatever commission you have negotiated, whether it's 3%, 4%, 5%, 10%, whatever it is. We're going to use 3% in this case, times 3%. You're going to get a commission of $78.92. $78.92. So taking your yearly rent times your years under contract, and then divided by times your percentage that you negotiated, 3%, 4%, 5%, and that'll give you your commission. All right.
Can you say that again?
I'm sorry?
Can you repeat?
Yes, so you will, and we were talking about commission structure. You know, this is, you know, just an example. You take your yearly dollar amount, which is your base rent times your square footage, equals your yearly dollar amount, right? Then take that times the amount of years that you have under contract lease, you know, 3 years, 5 years, whatever that is. And in this case, you know, we had 3 years and it came out to $260-something thousand. And then we took that times that commission that we negotiated, which was 3% for this exercise. And we got right at about 7, 8 grand. Same thing with, you know, if this was just a place for sale, it was $700,000. You do the same thing. Take that times your negotiated commission, 3%, 5%, and it give you your commission. Okay. So with that being said, you know, you can draw, you can search by zip code, and I'm not sure what was happening with the whole zip code thing. Let me clear this off. That kind of threw me out because normally that's how I like to search, but for some reason tonight, they didn't want to do right with me. So 8, 4, 8, 4. So there must be a glitch in there tonight because it's not actually taking it. But you should be able to type in, or let me see, maybe I just did it wrong. Let's say if I just put in Houston, Texas. Yeah, for some reason it's not populating tonight. But typically you can put in your location or you can put in an address here and then it'll pull it up. But if not, worst case scenario, you can go to your map and do the things that we just said. Zoom into an area, draw shapes, or make a radius that you want to shop, either one. And then, you know, once again, you got your types here. You know, we want to say, hey, you know what? I don't want retail anymore. I'm just looking for office. And it's just like when I hit that button and then these things populated, that's what should have happened when I hit that button over here under the zip code. But here you go. So, you know, once again, if you're looking for size of building, size of land, you can put that here. You got more here, or if that's a keyword you want to look up, you can look there. This is Commgate, guys. I hope that I went over everything that I could in here. And once again, you don't need to log in for this. I did not log in to show you any of this stuff that we're looking at. And that can help the newbies, you know, if you're not sure you want to do commercial or you got just one deal that you want to do, you don't have to go out and spend a whole bunch of money on it. If you're considering getting into, you know, commercial, I strongly advise that you find you some type of credible site that can give you comps and listings that you can use. I particularly use CoStar, and I like it so far. It don't have everything on there, but for the most part, for what I've been doing, it's been working for me. All right.
You know, how is CoStar getting comps?
CoStar, the bigger picture, the overall company is just like a database company, and they don't necessarily take listings. They just record data, or they go after recorded data. So their job is just to find movement in the commercial world and record it.
I mean, I know how HAR and the MLS gets comp data because you're required to report it.
Yeah, it's the same. They go to the courthouse. They go to title companies. They do all the above. You know, okay. I'll show you as a sneak peek real quick.
Okay, so they're actually going out and
yeah,
turning data to get those numbers.
Yes, they do some door knocking too, man. They'll call you like, I got a listing with LoopNet. I got an office building down in Richmond. We're trying to sell 2 suites down there, and they call me every week asking me, hey, is there any new listings you got for us? You got anything you want or anything you're trying to sell, anything you sold? They viciously go after that information for sure. Just like HAR, you know, we record it for them, but in here in commercial, you got to go look for it. Renomi, it's so many different sites that people can use for comps. This one makes it, you know, a lot easier for me. Like I said, they don't have every single comp in here, but it's going to have the majority of them. Like I said, I'm not trying to sell CoStar by any means. You know, that's not what I'm here for. I'm just trying to be helpful and make sure you guys kind of know what these tools are. So I'll just show you this. You know, like I'm looking for sale comps. I can look for lease comps. And And all of these things in blues are comps. I can type in here again, like, you know, the other one, 77084. I want to look up that zip code. It'll show me the comps over in that zip code. If I want to type in a type of building, I want to go office. It'll show me the office ones. All right. This one sold, and it actually sold this month at a 9.6 cap rate. This one sold in June. And this is just office building. This one sold in May. Sold in May. You know, I'll just click on one. This is a condominium office right here. So it's got details. As you can see, you know, when you have a subscription, it's definitely going to give you a little bit more details. It was on the market for 323 days. It was built in 2020. These were the recorded buyers. This deal closed on May 25th, 2021. It don't necessarily have the confirmed price on here, but this was the asking price. See right here, it'll have the confirmed price, and that's where, you know, sometimes they have all the information, sometimes they don't. What I do like about CoStar, if they don't have all the information, they're still going to give you some stuff, like who the recorded seller was, who the recorded buyer was, you know, the property itself, all the content in there, you know, the vacancy rate, the sub-market rate, the activity in the sub-market, who the tenants was, who was the architect for this building. It gives you the traffic count. So this is the stuff that I spend my wheels on when it's time to do commercial, because then you got to kind of go and research all this stuff to kind of help your person, whether you're looking for, you know, dollar per square foot, is it high or low, or whether you're looking for comps, if it's way out of line or not. And, you know, here you go, you know. At this place, there was only one lease person. Well, actually, they looked like they had two on the first floor. They had TIG services and farmers insurance. You know, the public record, some of them pull up, some of them don't. This is almost like your HCAD, pretty much. You got the parcel number, where it's located, the legal description, how many acres. Once again, the recorded owner, the last sale date. You know, this is actually the previous sale date before that last sale. Somebody bought it at $450,000, right? And then you can look at the loan amount. So it gives you a lot of information. You know, the history, the tax record. You know, so that's why for me, this does it for me, because then I can use this and I can filter a lot of more properties together, and I can come up with a good number to kind of suggest to my client. I try to stay away from cap rates just because I know people fudge them a lot, and I try to go after value or any information I can help them determine a value. All right, so yeah, so that was CoStar. I just show you that because we can spend a whole another hour on this one. But like I said, this is you know, you don't have to jump out there and get this. This is about $5 grand a year. They'll do a monthly payment of about $400 a month, 400 and some bucks a month. If you're gonna do commercial full time like myself, you're gonna need something like that. If it's not CoStar, you're gonna need something like that, for sure. In the meantime, you know, for those of you that are kind of getting into the business, I can help you with it, but I can only tell you, you know, I can't do all of your comps. You can't, I mean, it's hard for me to take on, you know, 100 people want to do commercial and go look up their comps for them. But we can work together and we can try to make sure that we get as much information as possible to you, so you can be as useful to your client as they need you to be with information. All right, so what other questions do we have? Do you think I went through this enough? Did I talk too fast? Did I give good information? Was it worth it? You feel like you got something out of it?
Yeah, it was really great. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. Just want to make sure, you know, our goal is just to share a little bit with you guys so we can hopefully help you be successful out there. We do know that we don't know everything, and we're not, you know, the end all be all, but our goal as mentors is to do what we can to help you and, you know, try to lead you down the right path. Hopefully this presentation tonight on Commgate puts you guys in a situation where you're comfortable with coming to this site and starting to look for some property for your client. All right, well, my name is Robert Griffin. You guys, just make sure that you know how to go to your webinar or your webinar training link. I keep it here, but remember, you'll see this video out. I'm gonna try to convert it tonight and get it up there, but there's a whole bunch of videos right here on its own that you can kind of look through to kind of get information, or nights that you're busy and you can't do the webinar, you can come right here and just review it on your own. And it has, like, you know, each week, line item by line item. Okay, well, that's all I have, man. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate you coming out tonight. Like I said, I hope this information was helpful.
Bye.
And if it wasn't, make sure you reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you whatever I can. And it was a pleasure sharing with you guys tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Good night. Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
Wait,
Bye-bye.
thank you, everybody.
You have a microphone on, Mom?
Thanks, Robert. It was interesting, informative.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem. You're more than welcome.
Mom, do you
Talk
have
to you later.
a phone on?
Okay. Are you talking to me? You say the microphone?
No, Robert, that's my daughter.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry.
All right. No problem. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.